everybody. And everyone please just take their seats. We're not going to have a big program tonight. We have some music with Shira Choir as well. Hope you can enjoy it, so we'll try to minimize the speeches. Welcome everybody to our home. Thank you for making the trip. Many of you have came from very far. Some of you have even flown by airplane. And I want to thank each and every one of you for making the trip. Over the course of the last 3 weeks, I have called, hounded, harassed every single person in this room. And every single person said, Barry, I'm coming for you. And for that, I am truly grateful. But the truth be told, tonight you're going to learn that more than being here for me, you are here for Klal Yisrael, for the Jewish nation. Over the last 120 days, there have been severe social cuts to the many, many thousands of young Galite learning in Eretz Yisrael. The social cuts that we are talking about are equivalent to our food stamps and Medicaid programs that rely on people that are in a already tight budget to survive on a day-to-day basis. The government cut somewhere between 50 and 62%, depending on where you fall into the bracket. And ladies and gentlemen, I'm here to share with you tonight, there are children that are starving. And the problem to overcome this problem, the solution to overcome this problem is not about the few big names that we all know that are used to giving the big checks. Unless Achenu B'nai Yisrael doesn't get together and say, this is our problem, we as a Jewish nation will help support the thousands of people that are literally troubling to put bread on their table, we will not overcome this. I want to share with you a beautiful Gemara. The Gemara is in Ksubis, Taf Samach Vav Amud Beis. Everyone can hear me? Okay. The Gemara is in Ksubis, Taf Samach Vav Amud Beis, where Rabbi Yochanan ben Zakkai, who was one of the Gedolei Hador, was traveling with his students on the outside of Yerushalayim, and he passed this little girl, 20, 25 years old, maybe young adult, and he sees her collecting barley from the dung of an animal. And he walks over to her, and she was embarrassed that Rabbi Yochanan ben Zakkai, one of the holiest people in that time, and she covered herself. And he walked over to her and he said, my child, who are you? I can't see you this way. And she said, I am the daughter of Nakdim ben Gurion. For the ones that know, Nakdim ben Gurion was the wealthiest man of that time. And he says to her, and he says, how is this possible that this is the end game for you? And she says, my dad lost all his money because he didn't give enough charity. So Rabbi Yochanan ben Zakkai asked him, how is this possible? I remember I was at your wedding. It was the power wedding of the century. The richest man with the second to the richest man. Where is your father-in-law's money? And she said, this one invested with this one, and he also lost his money. And Rabbi Yochanan ben Zakkai turns to the girl, to his Talmidim, and he says the famous Gemara, when the Jewish nation does the right thing, they're up in the heights. But when they're not doing the right thing, unfortunately, they succumb to what we see today. And the Gemara asks a great question. You know, how is it possible that Nakdim ben Gurion, who was the wealthiest man, you know how we know he was the wealthiest man? Because when he walked in the streets, he used to have silk carpets behind him, and the poor people used to roll up their carpets and go and sell it. And the Gemara gives two answers. Answer number one, he did it for his own recognition. He didn't give enough charity to the right meaning. And the second answer is what I want to focus on tonight. Which means, did he do all he was able to do? I think this Gemara teaches two valuable lessons. Lesson number one, if a person doesn't give enough charity and doesn't do the right thing, not only would he lose his money, but the people that he invests with will lose their money. Howard, you are safe. Second lesson is, there was a great question the Chazal asked. Why did the Gemara say that Nagdim Ben Gurion, you know how rich he was? You know how we know how wealthy he was? Because he had carpets. Why did the Gemara say that, the Gemara that everybody knows? The Gemara says in Gittin that when the Romans were about to destroy the Jewish temple, Nagdim Ben Gurion decided he's going to support all of Am Yisrael. Why did the Gemara bring that as an example? So I heard a beautiful pshat. That was a one-time event. He was inspired. The Jewish nation was about to succumb and collapse, and he decided he's going to write a check. But that wasn't who he was. That wasn't his being. And for that, he lost the money. Ladies and gentlemen, I have many, many friends in the room. And there are a lot of very successful people here. The problem that we're facing in Israel, the only way, like I said before, is if each and every one of us do whatever we possibly can. Let me share with you two stories that just happened. One of them was shared to me by a friend, Moshe Collar, who's sitting right here. He was in Israel last week, and he shared this story with me on Friday morning. He was in Israel on Monday, and he was passing by a bakery. Many of you know, it's called Nechama Bakery. It's in Jerusalem, a few minutes from the Western Wall. And he saw little kids going through, after the closing hours of the bakery, he saw little kids going through the garbage, eating from the garbage. And he walks over to them and he says, "What are you doing?" And they said, "We don't have money for dinner. Our parents are not feeding us at home. This is our dinner." And he went back on Tuesday, and he went back on Wednesday, and he went back on Thursday, and he kept on seeing the same exact sight. Little kids going through the garbage. This did not happen in the time of the Romans. This happened last week, Monday. Second story from another friend. Called me up Saturday night. He heard I'm trying to raise $1.6 million tonight. Yes, we're trying to raise $1.6 million. And he called me up and he says, "I got a story to tell you. My sister is a teacher in a school in Jerusalem. A little kid, about 8 years old, every day since the beginning of the school year, has been stealing the snack of other children. The teacher walks over to her and she said, "I want to take you into the principal's office." Principal sits her down and he goes, "My little sweet child, what are you doing? Why are you stealing this snack?" And she said, "My mom has no food at home. This is my dinner. My mom said I need to eat in school. I thought this is what you meant." This story happened 10 days ago, not in the time of the Romans. So like I said before, unless this problem does not get solved by each and every one of us, and I think what we can do tonight, we can all go to our co-workers, our fellow business associates, our friends, people that daven in our shuls, people that do business with us, people that our nursing homes are supplied by them. Mike, Bill, Tony. And we say, guys, let us overcome this together as a group. I want to share with you one story, last story. There was a fellow here who is a friend of mine. His name is Meir Singer, someone that I have profound respect for. over the last 3 weeks that I was making everyone crazy, I sat him down in that seat right there and I said, Mayor, one of the Askanim has told me that this is arguably one of the hardest times for people to feed their children since World War II. And he looks at me and he goes, what are you saying? There are more successful people today than ever before. When was it that a young guy was able to achieve such success that we're seeing today? We have young guys in the room today that are going to write $50,000 checks. When did that happen? What are you saying? And a light bulb went off in my head. Zeh le'umah zeh. When the Rebbeinu Shalom creates a problem in Eretz Yisrael and takes away their bread from little children, He's giving the money here in the U.S. All we need to do is connect the dots. Guys, we are standing right before the new year. Lost power. Hold on. We are standing right before the new year. All we need to do is connect the dots. It's right in front of us. Let us all be the flicker of light in this unfortunate darkness. We can only do that as a group. And I want to close with the last Gemara. The same Rabbi Yochanan ben Zakkai, the same one that I mentioned before. When he was getting old and he was about to move on to the other world, his students came and said goodbye. Everyone can hear me? Yeah, of course. His students came and wanted to say their final goodbyes. And he walks in, and they walk in, and he starts crying. And they say, Rebbe, why are you crying? And he said, if tomorrow I will be going in front of a king, that his prison sentence is not prison forever. And his torture is not torture forever. And his punishment is not punishment forever. I'll be crying. Tomorrow I'm going in front of the King of Kings. That his punishment can be punishment forever. And his torture can be torture forever. I don't know. Maybe I'm going to end up in Gehenna. Maybe I'm going to end up not in the Garden of Eden. And his student said, Rebbe, bless us. Barcheni. Bless us. And he said, Yehi ratzon, shehi moirish shamayim aleichem. May you be blessed that the will of God should shed on your face. And they said, that's it? And he said, I wish that's it. Halavai, that's it. Ask Rabbi Tzala. Rabbi Yochanan ben Zakkai was the Gadol Ador. He was the holiest man in that generation. He knew he never did any sins. He knew he never did an Avera. He was afraid that he's going to be able to go to Gehenna. What does it even mean? Says Rabbi Tzala. Rabbi Yochanan ben Zakkai knew he never did an Avera. He knew he never did a sin. His question was, did I do everything I could have done? Was it possible for me to do more? Let's learn from this Gemara. Yes, everybody here tonight, I am sure, is going to give very generous checks. And trust me, if you're not sure, you're sure now. But are you doing more and all you can? Is it possible that you can feed one more hungry child? One more piece of bread? One more family? Can you make one more phone call? Are we doing everything we possibly can? We're going in front of the Yom Adin. They're going to ask us. There are people in Israel that are begging for your help. I want to close with the following bracha in this week's parsha. In the spirit of we all being uplifted and all doing the right thing tonight, may we be zocha to have the bracha of this week's parsha. V'chol mishlach yadecha u'biracha ba'aretz. May everything all your investments, all your business associates, and your future. Hard for me to translate it, guys. Sorry. Be blessed. Yiftach Hashem l'cha et tzara tov. May your life be full of happiness. May you only see health, wealth, and all the life goodies. Please bear with me for a short video. Mike, I know you want to go. This video will turn your heart out.